Juanita Bynum speaks out the truth behind T.D. Jakes' exit. When Bishop T.D. Jakes, one of the most influential spiritual leaders of our time, announced his decision to step down from his leadership role, the Christian community was left stunned. But it wasn't just his departure that made headlines. It was what came after that grabbed even more attention. Dr. Juanita Bynum, a spiritual powerhouse in her own right, finally broke her silence in a bold and unfiltered manner. What Juanita had to say wasn't just about his resignation. It was about everything that led up to it. In this video, we're diving deep into the complex and layered history between Juanita Bynum and T.D. Jakes, from their early days on global stages to the simmering tensions that brewed beneath the surface. We'll uncover the truth behind what really happened. We'll explore the fallout, the spiritual truths behind Juanita's message, and why her words have reopened conversations many thought had been buried. By the end, you'll see this moment as a reckoning, far more than just a resignation. For decades, Bishop T.D. Jakes has stood as a towering figure in the Christian community. His sermons were thunderous, his books sold millions, and his Woman, Thou Art Loose conferences changed lives. To the public, he was a titan of faith, an unshakable symbol of grace, wisdom, and power. But behind the polished sermons and grand stages, Juanita Bynum saw something else, something the public never questioned. Juanita wasn't a casual observer of Jakes' rise. She was part of the movement. In fact, many credit Bishop Jakes with launching her into the limelight after she delivered her electrifying No More Sheet sermon at one of his major conferences. It was raw, real, and exactly what millions of women needed to hear. But while the world saw unity between these two spiritual giants, whispers of tension began circulating behind the scenes. According to insiders, Juanita and Bishop Jakes had very different views on ministry, accountability, and the responsibility of spiritual leaders. While Jakes believed in maintaining a certain image and exercising discretion in public matters, Juanita, always outspoken, felt that uncomfortable truths should never be hidden. This tension, though never explicitly acknowledged by either party, was palpable in private circles. Juanita, in particular, raised concerns about what she saw as the celebrity culture that was developing within the church. Mega pastors living like moguls, congregations giving blindly, and lavish conferences that often felt more like entertainment than spiritual restoration. Although she never directly named Jakes at the time, those close to the situation say that the tension between the two was real. Their relationship, though marked by mutual respect, was increasingly complicated by their differing values. When Bishop Jakes finally announced his decision to step down, Juanita's response wasn't what people expected. Instead of offering the expected pleasantries, she spoke candidly, sharing her own truth. But why now, after so many years of silence? What prompted Juanita to speak out at this moment in time? Let's dive deeper into what she said and why her words are so significant. When Juanita finally broke her silence, her words weren't just a reaction to Jake stepping down. They were a reflection of everything she had witnessed and experienced throughout the years in the spotlight. What made her message so significant, however, was that it wasn't filled with the disappointment or shock that many might have expected. She wasn't here to tear anyone down. Instead, she offered something far more profound: clarity. In a candid interview, Juanita Bynum shed light on the hidden truths behind the spiritual empire many only see from the outside. With passion and clarity, she addressed the harsh reality of how success, when it becomes all-consuming, can harm the very soul of a ministry. At the heart of her message was a bold critique of a culture that elevates spiritual leaders to idol status. In this culture, leaders are expected to be perfect, unbreakable figures, which can create an environment where authenticity is sacrificed for the sake of image. Juanita was not just speaking about Bishop T.D. Jakes, but about Juanita Bynum's bold remarks peeled back the layers of an entire system that surrounds celebrity-driven ministries, raising a powerful and unsettling question. What do you do when your ministry is more about the brand than the calling? This question struck at the heart of a growing crisis in modern spiritual leadership, where the pursuit of fame, influence, and expansion often eclipses the original purpose of serving and healing. Her words weren't scandalous, they were sobering. With striking clarity, Juanita challenged the illusion of perfection that leaders are forced to maintain, exposing the emotional isolation, relentless expectations, and spiritual burnout that plague many at the top. She wasn't attacking Bishop T.D. Jakes personally, but using his resignation as a lens to critique the system that exhausts even the strongest among us. Juanita acknowledged the immense pressure Jake faced as the head of the Potter's House, a ministry that evolved into a global brand, but warned of the dangers when the image becomes more important than the mission. Her message was a call to return to authenticity, to focus on the spiritual well-being of leaders and communities, and to rethink the true cost of success. When the ministry becomes bigger than the person leading it, she cautioned, it can crush the very soul that once breathed life into it. As conversations turned to Bishop Jakes' legacy, Juanita posed yet another critical question. What happens to the calling when the man who carried it steps away? Her reflections serve as both a cautionary tale and a powerful call to action, urging spiritual leaders everywhere to reclaim purpose over platform. In the end, she reminded us that a ministry's legacy shouldn't be measured by its size, but by the lives it touches and the truth it holds.